Hey, movie fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Uncharted Media Podcast. This is episode 56, the best family-friendly Halloween movies. So if you aren't necessarily the big fan of scares come Halloween season and you want something that you can kind of just chill with, we got you covered. But first of all, Josh, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. I'm chilling like a villain, just kind of doing my thing. It's coming up on the end of October, and it's been a busy month for me. So I'm happy to be sitting here and not doing anything for a little bit.
Yeah, for everyone listening at home, once we get out of October, yes, we will go back to our regularly scheduled episodes and not just spooky and Halloween related. But for the time being, deal with it. Also, we do have the rest of the year mapped out. If you guys have enough interest, I'll share the schedule with you guys. If not, be surprised every week. I'm fine either way. But thankfully, Josh and I are not alone this week to talk about our favorite family-friendly Halloween movies. I brought part of my family. Heather, how are you doing tonight?
I'm pretty good. How are you guys? I heard Josh is doing well. How are you, Nathan?
Heather, I feel like you should know how your husband's doing. Do you not check on him throughout the day? What's wrong with you?
I try.
It's our responsibility to check up on you, Josh.
Yeah, I keep hitting my head on things.
Yeah, stop giving us scares.
I'm sorry. It's an occupational hazard.
All right. I think let's go over some movie news, because there may or may not have been some big stuff that happened recently.
Yeah, I agree. Real quick, I didn't see it on the notes, but I just wanted to ask if you had seen the Bloodshot trailer.
Yes, and let's just say there's a reason we're not going to talk about it.
Oh, okay, cool. I thought it was interesting, but we're going to move on. Anyway.
Yeah, we could talk about it real quick. I thought it was terrible.
Really? Okay.
It looks real bad.
I mean, it does look like, what is it called? What's that movie with Tom Cruise?
Edge of Tomorrow?
Edge of Tomorrow. Sorry. It literally
Except
looks
Tom Cruise
like
has
that.
charisma and Vin Diesel never does.
Yeah.
Just briefly explain what this is. I don't know what you're talking about.
So I've seen this trailer like twice, and I still don't know how to properly explain this movie.
Yeah.
Is the movie what Josh is referring to is it Bloodshot?
I believe it is.
So it's a comic book character that no one's ever heard of, based off of Valiant. Is that the publisher's name?
Yes.
It's like Dark Horse or Vertigo, it's a offshoot of like DC or somebody.
It's like Image.
And it's like Vin Diesel's this assassin with Wolverine-like powers that can regenerate himself, but he also gets his memory wiped or something after every mission. It's a January release date.
Okay, so not many people really know about this yet.
It's been in development hell forever, and after seeing the trailer, I can understand why. Yeah,
I mean, the concept that he is basically made out of nanites is interesting, but I don't know. I thought at least, if anything, it's going to be a pretty movie, but that's about it.
The only part that was interesting to me was the part that they really want you to notice in the trailers when his face gets blown off and they heal it instantaneously. But the rest of it, it's a Vin Diesel movie. He's probably getting revenge for his family.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a better trailer, though?
I mean, I guess it's better. I mean, I've only watched it maybe 10 times now.
Josh, what trailer are you referring to?
So there's this very, very small indie film coming out in December. Not a lot of people know about it. Not a lot of people are really looking forward to it.
Well, that part you might be right.
Yeah, that part might be right. But Rise of Skywalker released its last, final trailer this past Monday.
Quote unquote final.
I mean, I think we're gonna get TV spots and stuff like that, but I understand what they're saying, final trailer.
Yeah. So off the top, before we go into a long rant and diatribe about it, Heather, what were your initial thoughts and reactions to the quote unquote final Rise of Skywalker trailer?
I thought it looked fine. It actually visually it looked pretty good.
Wow.
But it looked fine. I did like the part. There's a part where they showed R2, R2D2 a lot, and I really like him. Just I hope they show more of the classic droids and things. We'll see. I know supposedly it's like the end, but I don't know. I'm kind of like with Nathan, maybe with Josh. I don't know if it's the end.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. This is like what the third quote unquote end of Star Wars, so I'm always hesitant to be like, this is the end, because Return of the Jedi was supposed to be the end, and Revenge of the Sith was supposed to be the end, and we know we're getting a new trilogy from Benioff and Weiss, so is that the end? I have conflicting thoughts and some bullet points I want to make sure we go over. Before we go into that, Josh, what did you think of the trailer?
I got chills, honestly. I wasn't on the fence or like anything like that about the movie. I've kind of decided whenever it comes to Star Wars movies to release all expectations and go in with open mind. And that helped me kind of enjoy Last Jedi a little bit more than I think some people did. But with that being said, this trailer got me. A good portion of it got me, and it got me in a way of, I actually started having dialogue with some of my coworkers as to what they could be doing and what is C-3PO hooked up to and all that stuff. So it gave me chills, especially, and I know we're going to hit the bold points later, but especially the music at the end and then the final two lines really, really got me.
Yeah, I know it's John Williams doing the music, but whatever you're paying him, it's not enough, because the music in this trailer really is what brings it home for me. I really, really enjoy this trailer. Ask Skylar, I've seen this trailer like 8 or 9 times already, just because she says more. Just because, one, it's a good trailer, but two, there's so much to try and glean from this trailer in terms of like little Easter eggs here and there. It's a bit of a toss-up for me, though. I thought this was a really good trailer, but a bad final trailer. I thought this was a really good first trailer, if this was the first trailer that you would show at like a D23 or something. But as a final, this is the movie, this is the trailer that's going to get you into the theater and explain what the movie's going to be about. I thought it failed in that regard. We have 2.5 trailers now, because I don't think the special look that we got over the summer really gave us a whole lot. Through 2.5 trailers, I still have no clue what this movie's about, and I don't necessarily think that's a good thing. Like, J.J. Abrams is notorious for keeping things way too close to the vest. Force Awakens, he did that. Into Darkness, he swore Benedict Cumberbatch wasn't playing Khan, and look how that turned out. This one is one that I get that he wants to keep his secrecy, but after what happened with Last Jedi, I think people kind of want to know what the direction is, whether or not they can get on board with it or not.
Yeah, and I get that. I understand, Brent, why somebody made a point to me at work that made a lot of sense to me of why bring Palpatine in. Well, I mean, Palpatine's always been...
Because Rian Johnson killed off Snoke. I
mean, well, there's that, but Palpatine's always been the main villain since the very beginning.
True. So before we get into our quick bullet points that I wrote down, JJ's like gone on record of just like, this will wrap up all 9 films and it'll be the conclusive ending to not just this trilogy, but the whole 9 films as a whole. I'm just like, dude, worry about resolving this trilogy. I don't care if it resolves all 9 films. You don't need to do that. You just need to resolve this trilogy. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Yeah, I can see that. I agree. Or I'm on board here.
Now, I do have some points that I'm just like, oh, we got to make sure we talk about this. Rey training at the beginning, great.
Oh, dude.
But is it just me, or does she like training in like every single movie?
I mean, she is, but hey, at least she's trying to get ready for whatever she's trying to get ready for.
And does it look like to me that the planet that they're on is Yavin 4 from Episode 4, where the Rebel base was?
It does. I think the thing that popped me the most was that she's running through the forest while doing the droid, the little droid that shoots.
Now, I'm going to toss it over to Heather for this one. There's a theory that I've seen out there that the natural inclination for people is to assume that she's being trained by Force Ghost Luke. But someone has suggested that she's actually being trained by Leia. Heather, you're immediately shaking your head. Why is that?
Well, I don't know. I know you guys know a little bit behind the scenes and better of Star Wars than I do, but
Well, for this one, I'm purposely trying to stay out of the behind the scenes,
Yeah.
but
I mean, in general, you know more Star Wars than I do. I think you're referring to when we were talking. I think Leia might be is she a ghost, a Force ghost?
no, Leia.
She is not.
The character is still alive. It's
That's
the
what
actress that
I was
unfortunately.
getting confused. Okay, what are you referring to?
So there's talk that Leia, like the physical character of Leia, is the one training Rey in the Force, not Force Ghost Luke.
Okay.
Which is interesting. I don't know, dude. I would.
I kind of shoot that rumor down because I don't think there's enough footage of Leia. So Carrie Fisher will be in this movie using like the extra scenes and the deleted scenes that they had for Force Awakens. So it's not going to be bad CGI like the end of Rogue One. I don't know how much extra footage they have, and if it is, I don't think it's training montage stuff.
Correct. The rumor I have heard, and this goes over and builds into what I think will be the conclusion of this series, of at least this 3-film saga, of it's Anakin.
Oh no!
So, just hear me out.
No.
Anakin's Force Ghost. So Rey can tell Kylo that his uncle, his grandfather, is not like a terrible person, and he was actually fighting Palpatine the whole time, which leads Rey and Kylo to fight Palpatine, and then when they become triumphant or whatever, they create the resurgence of the Grey Jedi.
Now, we do have a lot to talk about with Rey and Kylo here. We'll get to the Death Star fight in a little bit here. But so one of us here, up until like a day or two ago, had never heard the term Reylo. Heather, what is Reylo?
I don't want to believe that. That's weird.
What is it?
Oh, sorry, people. Reylo is Rey and Kylo together?
Not just together, romantically together.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's weird. I don't like that.
There is a rumor that I've heard that I'm just like, okay, even that one's too far out, that they have a kid.
No.
I'm not okay with that one.
That makes my stomach weird.
The only thing that would make it weird.
So gross. I'm sorry.
It's only gross if it turns out that they are related.
Yeah.
Which, it's Star Wars. But I think it's this trailer all but confirms to me that Rey and Kylo are in fact going to team up at some point. That's why I think the Death Star fight that they're basing a lot of this marketing material around. Like the poster, this trailer has them fighting on the Death Star. I don't think that's the big final fight. I think that's like halfway. Like the First Order is looking for something, and the Resistance is looking for something that's on the second Death Star, that their paths cross, and that's where they fight. Maybe since C-3PO was around when Palpatine was around, they're restoring C-3PO's memory so he can tell them about Palpatine?
Potentially. I don't know. See, but like then the only thing I can think just that would, because maybe if restoring his memory causes him to break down or whatever, and that's why he's like taking one last look at my friends. Like,
okay, I have issues with that because I'm a grumpy old man.
Yes.
Who is he talking to in that scene? Because he can't be talking about Poe, Kylo, and Rey, because he has spent next to no time with them. They're not his friends.
And see, and there's a moment in the trailer when they're all getting into the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon, and I was like, there was just a small tick in the back of my head of, oh man, I would have loved to see all of these guys on an adventure together.
Yeah, when they're in the Millennium Falcon, it is literally the first time we see them all together on a mission. Poe doesn't meet Rey until the end of Last Jedi.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the best idea to keep them separate for so long. Like, the original trilogy had Han and Luke go rescue Princess Leia. Then they're a group. Then they do their own mission and save the day. Their paths intertwine. Like, everyone, like the Jedi character, both Luke and Rey, like, split off to do their own thing. That's just Star Wars. But I think waiting till the very last movie in the series to tie all your main characters together, not a great idea. So when C-3PO is just like, one last look at my friends, I think that's a different moment in the movie. Since it's a droid, you could easily dub over it. I think he's talking to, like, Princess Leia, Chewbacca, and R2 in a different scene. Heather, what do you think?
No, I definitely agree with that. Like I said earlier, I really am excited to see, like, the original droids, the original characters like Chewie. But
And your boy R2.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I love R2. But
who, to be fair, has been really shortchanged this trilogy.
I agree. I think it's like he's talking
C-3PO.
Yeah, he's talking to somebody else. It's like a fake out. They're just trying to, like, make you, oh, they're talking to Rey and Finn and whoever. No.
Yeah, because J.J. Abrams never does fake outs.
What? No, yeah, he does. So, do you want to hear the elaborate theory that I was told today regarding that scene?
I mean, I suppose we have to since you set it up.
I forget the exact terminology, but there is an episode in Rebels.
I'm familiar.
Yes, about a dagger.
No, that's not in Rebels. That's in Clone Wars.
Okay. Well, at least you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the dagger of like Mortis or something. That's about the light and the dark side of the Force.
Yeah. So the guy I was talking to hypothesized that for whatever reason they need to translate something having to do with the dagger, and C-3PO can do it
because he speaks over 6 million forms of communication.
Exactly, but it will, like, either severely damage him or, like, something might potentially happen, and so they're getting him all set up to translate the dagger. And so, with the potential of him, being destroyed because of it, just to give his friends the information they need. Which I was like, way to, like, pull out a reference out of nowhere if that's the case.
I don't think, I'm putting this on record now, I don't think any of the original trilogy members are dying, just because too many of them have already died.
Yeah.
Han had to die in Force Awakens just because the mentor figure always dies in the first movie of Star Wars. Whether it's Obi-Wan or Qui-Gon, Han just fit that role. They had to do it. Luke, I think that was just a dumb choice by Rian Johnson's part. I don't think you really needed to kill off Luke. I don't think you bring back Lando just for him to die. Chewbacca, there will be riots in the street if you kill off Chewbacca, R2, or 3PO. And given the fact that Carrie Fisher actually passed away, I don't think they're going to send her off. I think they've killed off too many of the original people to kill off 3PO here. I think it's a misdirect. That being said, I feel pretty confident saying someone's going to die, and his name is Kylo Ren.
I can see that, but I think, do you think it's going to be a sacrifice, or do you think he's going to, like, Rey will, like, have to kill him?
Heather, before I answer, Heather, what do you think? Is Kylo dying a hero or dying a villain, or staying alive the whole time?
I think he's going to be a hero. I think Rey is evil.
Really? You're going off that last D23 shot with the double-bladed?
Yes. And, okay, this is my own opinion. I don't really like Rey, so I think she's evil.
I don't hate Rey, but I do think it's a challenging bit for a character when they never lose, like, ever. Yes. They never have any issues or struggles. Like, Luke grew as a character when he lost to Vader in Empire Strikes Back. Rey has never lost. Well, like, she beat Kylo twice. You had a thought, Heather?
Yes, go along with her. She never struggles. The thing I do notice, and I do like this, in this trailer, she looked thinner in the face. She looked worn out. She looked drained. She looked tired. So I feel like she has been going and going and going, battling and fighting and whatever, challenging and training, but she still doesn't make me like her that much. But I like that she's, she is, she doesn't give up, but I don't like her as a character.
Josh,
Okay.
Kylo living or dying?
Um,
And if he does, hero or villain?
I'd like to think that he's going to die a hero if he does.
Yeah, I think JJ is too much of a traditionalist and too much of a fan of the original trilogy to deviate anything other than Return of the Jedi type endings.
Yeah, and I feel like that's not gonna be beneficial. I
don't know.
I don't know.
Return to something safe is probably what Star Wars needs right now.
I see, but like that's the problem because Force Awakens was safe, and
it was great.
Yeah, not to everyone. There's a large group of people that said, "Oh, yeah, but it's too much like the original trilogy."
But yes, we needed The Force Awakens to be like the original trilogy because we came off the backs of the prequels, which are universally despised until now, which apparently they're beloved masterpieces now.
I wouldn't say that they're beloved masterpieces, but I definitely would say they're not as bad as they have been considered.
I was just going to say really quick about Force Awakens. Like, for people like my sister who had never seen much of Star Wars to begin with, Force Awakens was one of those, okay, we can have the original A New Hope again, but in a new generation.
Yeah, I think Force Awakens, it was like the original to bring in the new people as well as the old school fans. Like, we have quite a few friends that if we're introducing them to Star Wars, I'd probably show them Force Awakens first.
Yeah, I would agree, but I think the old I've been watching since the original series, Star Wars fan saw it and was like, "Oh, come on!" Like, so I want to say go safe, but I also want to I don't know, expand the universe a little bit with this last one.
We branched out in the last one, in Last Jedi, and it got really negative reviews. So I think Disney would much rather play it safe until they bring Kevin Feige in.
I'll give that to you.
Let's do one more thing, and then we should probably move on because we've talked about this long enough. Again, this is our third look at the movie, and we still have not got a shot of the Emperor. I don't think it's going to be the Emperor that we think it is.
I would agree.
Like, we are not seeing his face. We got the side of his hood this time around, but whether he's a clone on life support or played by Matt Smith of Doctor Who fame, or like he's a young clone, I don't know. But I don't think he's going to look like how everyone thinks he will.
I wouldn't be surprised if they go the kind of like Darth Maul route where he is mostly robot.
That is what happened in the EU, and what's interesting to me is they're basing a lot of stuff that was left on the cutting room floor of other projects for this movie. Like the whole fighting on the Death Star and discovering something in the hidden Death Star is actually from concept art and story pitches from early drafts of Force Awakens, actually.
Yeah, exactly. So it's interesting to me.
I'm sure we could have a long discussion about this, and we'll probably will have a Star Wars breakdown eventually. But we got to move on to other stuff. A lot of DC-related stuff. So last week we talked about how Zoe Kravitz was cast as Catwoman in the upcoming Batman movie, and that Jonah Hill was out. Well, now it seems like we have not only another casting bit, but the composer as well. So we have Paul Dano is confirmed as the Riddler, and Josh is just rejoicing in the streets.
Well, I think we said this when we were doing the casting episode. Heather, I don't know how much fan casting you do, but I know Nathan and I, it's all we do. But we also like we like to pick dark horses, and I don't know why he never crossed my mind for Riddler. But now that they've cast him, it's one of those like, oh yes, that's exactly who should be the Riddler.
Well, I'll tell you why Paul Dano was never in my consideration for the Riddler. Is because I never thought he would actually do it. Because Paul Dano is like a Daniel Day-Lewis type actor will only appear in like indie / really prestigious movies. Like, I've never seen him in a big mainstream movie before. I honestly think his most mainstream movie is probably There Will Be Blood.
Yeah.
And even then, that's probably pretty indie.
Yeah, or like Swiss Army Man is like super indie, and he's great in it.
Prisoners, super indie, but he's amazing in that.
Oh yeah. So like regardless, that's a casting choice I can really get behind.
So as someone that may not be super familiar with the actor, what are you hoping to see from a Riddler character in this upcoming Batman movie, Heather?
Well, as far as what I know what he looks like the character. And I know you made something that made him look, Nathan did like a Photoshop thing, or I don't know exactly what you did, but he made him with his hair and his suit and everything that made him look more like the Riddler. And so I can see him that way. Also, I'm just thinking, because the Riddler is like, he's the joke, does the riddles and he's just trying to be funny, right? Kind of.
Most incarnations.
Yeah. I'm thinking of like 1960s and 70s.
Oh, the Frank Gorshin version?
That's the only one I know of, kind of. Just look funny. And just like trying to like be sneaky, but like not in a bad way, but just like try to trickster kind of, yeah.
A bit. The Riddler, more so than almost any other Batman villain, I feel like, has had such wild varieties of portrayals. Like, you've had your Frank Gorshins and your Jim Carreys, which I'm putting on the record, Jim Carrey's iteration is trash. I hate his performance as Riddler so much. He set the character back big time. But then you also have, I think, one of the most criminally underrated versions of Riddler, and Josh, I'm sure will agree with this, the Batman's version of Riddler.
Oh, dude.
With the long jet black hair, he kind of looked like a Johnny Depp knockoff, but in a good way.
He just, like, comes across, like, suave, but, like, his riddles and just the way he comes across is not, like Heather said, it's not trickster, quite.
Considering there's actually a DC character called Trickster.
Yeah, exactly.
That sounds like a character. Okay.
That was Mark Hamill's character on Flash.
See, that's what I was thinking of. Because don't they have the same colors or no?
No, Trickster has every color. Riddler is green.
80s, bam, neon, right?
Yes.
Okay, I know who you're talking about.
So
like I liked it a lot because I felt like this was a man who wasn't doing the riddles because he wanted to trick somebody. He's doing these riddles because
he has to show he's smarter.
Exactly. He has to feel smarter than everyone else because he knows he is. He just has to prove it.
Yeah. So, and I think you and I have talked about this before in the past of with this new Riddler, we kind of hope we get a more like dark and serious version of the Riddler, and I think we will. It's not an analogy that I thought about before. But I really would like it to be this way now. If Batman is Sherlock Holmes, the world's greatest detective, I want Riddler to be Moriarty. Andrew Scott's Moriarty from Sherlock. Of like evil, demented, thinking 5 moves ahead, and super smug about it. Not like funny or like, ha, I have a riddle for you, Batman, while twirling his question mark cane, but like Moriarty from Sherlock. That's one of my favorite villains. And if you slap a green suit on that and call that Riddler, my day is made.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think you and I talked about this is like and I think it goes hand in hand with the Batman Riddler. He just has to prove that he's smarter than everyone else, which is a very, very like serial killer like esque character traits. So having him do that and just he's got to do it to everyone, and he's going to kill multiple people, make him dark. And honestly, Paul Dano, regardless of whether or not I think he can pull it off, which I totally think he has the acting range too, even if he doesn't, it's gonna be terrifying. It'll be like Michael Cera going, like, telling riddles and stuff and like killing people.
Oh, absolutely. And the other part of this news that we got is that we have an official composer for the movie, and boy, did they swing for the fences yet again. Everything that they're doing so far with this movie, they're knocking out of the park. They have, I always mispronounce his name, Michael Giacchino, doing the music. Now, if you aren't familiar with his name, you're familiar with his music. He did the music for both Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home, so he did that really great cover of the Spider-Man theme. He did the music for the entire J.J. Abrams Star Trek trilogy. He did the music for Rogue One, which even though that movie is trash, the music's really, really good for it. Michael Giacchino is a great composer. I'm glad we're not as much as Hans Zimmer's one of my favorites, I'm glad we're getting a different stylistic composer than Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah, I agree.
And I've never been a fan of Danny Elfman, who I know that's going to get me some flack because Danny Elfman did the Batman '89 theme, which is like the most iconic Batman theme ever made. But Danny Elfman's never really done it for me.
Okay. No, I'll agree with that, and I think it goes hand in hand with a point that I was going to make later, but
yeah, bring it up now with our Pats.
Yeah, with Robert Pattinson's, because he was doing press for Lighthouse, which I still really need to see.
Yeah, it's like in 5 theaters right now. I'm trying to find Lighthouse.
Oh yeah, it's one of those things. I think I'm gonna have to wait and then have my movie guy put it on his little server. Anyway, but he made a comment. I would like to go back and find the full interview, but
he's made 2 very interesting comments recently.
Yeah, like the one I'm specifically talking about is how he's approaching the character of Batman, and that he should not be looked at as a hero. He should be looked at as frightening.
Yes. So, bringing Heather into this one, what Josh is saying is Robert Pattinson is trying to make Batman scary. When you first hear it, scary / frightening, when you hear that off the top of your head, is that something you want to see from Batman? And if you hear a frightening Batman, what's the first thing that comes to your mind with that?
I'm not really sure. I just know, I think Robert probably will do a very good job. I feel like he's a good actor and he'll be serious at his role, but I don't know what to think of like a scary Batman. Do you mean like just scary so people know that he means business, or like scary like creepy?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
So, not just the frightening thing, but there's also, he said in another interview that Batman's not a hero. And his morality is a little questionable at times. You hear something like that. Is that something you agree with, or you think he is reaching a little bit there?
I think he's reaching out a little bit because I don't know. I think he's making people think and make like, oh, what is this next Batman going to be about? Because honestly, I think Batman is a hero, even though he's a little more rough and he's a little bit more like, he's Batman. He's not Spider-Man, and like, you know what I mean? There's 2 different kinds of, there's many different kinds of superheroes, but Batman, just because of his upbringing, because of this or that, whatever happened to him, I feel like that's why he's a little bit more rough and a little bit like wants to stick to himself. Like, I don't know.
Oh, no, I get you. That's a really good point.
Yeah, I'm with. I hear what Heather's putting down though, because he is like, he's a different breed, and we should
he's a different breed in the same sense that Punisher is a different breed of hero.
Exactly. So when Robert Pattinson says frightening, I think those scenes from Batman Begins, when we first get Batman attacking the shipyard.
Yes.
Exactly, like those kinds of scenes.
Or as much as I despise Batman v Superman, when you are first introduced to Ben Affleck's Batman, he's literally like a vampire on the walls that even the people he's saving are terrified of him. I think that was perfect.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that kind of thing. Of like he shouldn't be like, and that's why the public is never sure about what to think of him. Because yes, he's doing some of the stuff he's doing is really, really good, but how he goes about it is really questionable. And so
Yeah.
like that's exactly, I feel like that hits it spot on. And so with that bit being said, I feel like with this guy that they just brought on for the music, with the casting choices they're making, they are swinging for the fences, and they're not choking the bat. They're knocking this thing out of the park is what they're aiming for.
Yeah, I agree. And also, because everything has to revolve around Nightwing somehow, you kind of have to have this like darker and scarier Batman if you're ever going to introduce Nightwing, because that's a crux of his character, is why he left Batman, because he disagreed so heavily of, you don't always have to scare the crap out of villains to make them change. You can show compassion, and that's one of their big riffs. Just the more I hear about the production of this Batman movie, the more hyped I get for this. Truly could be something special.
Oh, absolutely.
Now,
so speaking of things that turned out special,
Jared Leto
Joaquin
is a different kind of special, my friend.
Yes, he is. Now, I don't know how much you've read up on all of the stuff that Jared Leto has apparently tried to cancel the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie when it was in production.
Yes, he did. So, what Josh referring to is, so we all know Jared Leto was Joker in the Suicide Squad, and how do I put this nicely? He's the worst live-action Joker we've ever gotten, hands down. Not even close. He was dreadful as Joker and was met with a lot of backlash. Not just from the audiences, from his castmates too, because he was apparently horrible to his castmates, like sending them dead rats and things that will, I'm going to quote Big Fat Liar, we've got some R-rated dialogue, but I'm going to keep it PG. Of some things that he did on set during Suicide Squad are never okay.
Yeah.
But so he took the roles very, very seriously. And so when he found out that Joaquin Phoenix was getting a Joker movie that was completely separate from his Joker, he flipped out big time and talked to his agent and was just like, we have to do everything in our power to make sure that this doesn't happen. Which I'm just going, how immature can you be that you're trying to cancel some other project just because it doesn't star you?
Yeah, exactly. It was like, I think the term that he used was alienated. He felt like alienated, and like, why would you not give me an opportunity to do this character justice? Why would you blah blah blah? Why would you this? Why would you that? At the end, and like even going as far as to using his music connections to try to get this movie to stop.
Yeah, so Heather, you're making a not right in the head motion. What are you making of all this literally insanity?
Well, just knowing who he is, something's not right with him in the head. Like, he has some sort of mental illness. If he keeps doing those awful pranks and he's just trying to make people feel awful about, being in a Joker movie, okay, who cares? It's not his movie, like Nathan said, immaturity, and he has something wrong with him.
It would be different if he was well received in his Joker role, but it's pretty well regarded that he was not a popular Joker. So these are unconfirmed rumors, but there's some new rumors that have come to light that he did have more scenes in the Suicide Squad movie that were cut due to performance of the studio and the directors going, this was a horrible choice. We've got to cut back on Joker because he was so nuts. And it's just, I get that Jared Leto is super duper method, like to the nth degree. But it also, this coupled with what we know about the making of Suicide Squad, this does not paint him in a good light at all. Like, if I'm a studio, I'm very hesitant to work with Jared Leto going forward. Not only were you this wild and rambunctious on the set of a movie, you purposely tried to sabotage that movie once it came out. Not only that, you tried to sabotage other movies. This is not a good look. And just when DC's starting to get its footing back, this is not what they need right now. I didn't like Joker, but it's on its way to being the highest grossing rated R movie ever. It's going to pass Deadpool probably this weekend. Like, this
Yeah.
movie's a huge success. This is the last thing DC needs is another PR nightmare, in which they've already dealt with plenty of PR nightmares over the years. But this is just, I said it before, this is just immaturity on Jared Leto's part. And there's a reason why there's other reports coming out that he's done as Joker, which he was done as Joker after Suicide Squad came out. Who are we kidding? But now it seems to be confirmed that he's not going to be in Birds of Prey. We're not going to get that Joker Harley movie, which I always thought was a bad idea. This is just his final nail in the coffin in any comic book movie, I think. Well, he's got Morbius coming out next year, but with this whole reputation, I don't think Morbius is going to do well, and I think he's out of big budget movies for a little bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised as well.
Any last minute thoughts on that before we move on to The Rock?
No, dude. Because that kind of makes me scratch my head.
Heather, any last minute thoughts before we move on to The Rock?
No, I'm good.
All right, so The Rock, as we know, is one of the busiest guys in Hollywood, even if he is just playing the same character in every movie. But I'm not going to beat that dead horse today. Now, one movie that he's been attached to, what seems like for a decade now, actually, he said he's been attached to this movie for 10 years, is the Black Adam movie. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Black Adam, for every Superman, there's a Lex Luthor. For every Batman, there's a Joker. For Shazam, there's Black Adam. Black Adam is more or less the big villain for Shazam. So Black Adam was actually supposed to come out before Shazam. And now, according to The Rock, who's the star of Black Adam, the movie will finally begin filming in July. Now, I feel like I've heard this for years now, so I don't know if I buy it. But Josh, do you believe The Rock this time that Black Adam will finally start filming in July?
I'm going to say I believe it. Partly because I think The Rock is very good at promoting the movies that he's currently working on. So I feel like, given that reputation, he would not say that unless he was getting ready to work on it.
True. Now, I will give you another question. Is this a movie you want?
Yeah, given the Shazam that we got, I'm pretty down for that.
So, Heather, you hear that The Rock has been attached to this movie for years and years, and he says it's finally going to start filming next July. Do you believe him? And if it's at all connected to the Shazam verse and the Shazamily, are you interested in seeing this movie?
I would say I'm definitely interested if it's connected. And like you said, if it's been going on that he's going to be in this movie, it's in production, they're going to do it starting in July. I don't know if I necessarily believe it's going to be then. That might be just giving everybody a heads up. It's coming soon, but it might not be this soon.
Yeah, so I don't know if I believe it or not. I think we'll eventually get Black Adam. That being said, Josh, I'm going to have to disagree with you. I don't want this movie at all. I've thought since they announced it, this is a really bad idea. Not because it's The Rock and my weird issues that I have with The Rock as an actor. It's from everything I've heard about what the story is and what the direction they're going to take the character, it just sounds wrong. Like, so wrong. They're like, yeah, Black Adam is one of the great anti-heroes of the DC universe, and we really want to make it like an anti-hero. And I'm just going, what Black Adam comics have you read? Because I don't know of a single one where he's not one of the worst villains out there. Like, he's a bad dude, and he's not an anti-hero in any sense of the word. So when they attach The Rock to him, just like, The Rock doesn't play bad guys. You're going to make him a hero, aren't you? Which is not what Black Adam is. He's evil. He's one of the worst villains out there. In terms of the powerful lexicon, yes, I just used that word, of all-time great DC villains, like powerful villains, you've got Doomsday, Brainiac, Lex Luthor, Joker, Sinestro, Black Adam, all these guys are pure evil and power. Black Adam's not a good guy. So as soon as they said The Rock was it, I was like, oh no, here we go. Because it's not him. He's not a good guy in any sense, anti-hero or straight up good guy. Now, I did hear an interesting pitch that I was like, okay, now that I could buy. Black Adam's family is killed by, and therefore Black Adam has to fight against Vandal Savage, the immortal Vandal Savage.
I'd be very down with that.
Yeah, because if there's anybody that's more evil than Black Adam that could actually go toe-to-toe with a godlike power is someone that's immortal and cannot die in Vandal Savage. I think that'd be okay. That being said, I don't want this movie at all.
Yeah, now that you've kind of explained it that way, geez. Okay, well then, if that's the case, who would you have be Black Adam, if not The Rock?
I've always thought the guy that played the Mummy in the 1990s Mummy movie would be great, Arnold Vosloo.
Okay. I actually had a thought.
Uh-oh.
He would look maybe just a tad different, but man, I'm terrible with names. But I watched the God of War documentary today. The guy that does the voice for the new Kratos,
Christopher Judge.
Yeah.
Teal'c from Star Trek. No, from my mom's gonna kill me for that. Stargate is Christopher Judge. He's got a powerful voice. I would be very much okay with him as Black Adam.
Oh, dude, because think of the contrast of that voice and that look in comparison to Zach.
Plus, fun fact: Christopher Judge has already been in a DC movie. Josh, can you tell me which one?
No.
It's a blink and you miss it cameo that he actually has 2 lines of dialogue in The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh?
He's one of Bane's guards. He's one of the guards that Joseph Gordon-Levitt fights when he's in street clothes at the end.
No, he doesn't deserve that. Okay, but yeah, no. I really would if not Rock, then definitely him.
Yeah, I think Christopher Judge can pull off villain better than The Rock can.
And hearing that voice say spells would be terrifying.
Oh, yeah. Now, for our last news topic, it's one of the weirdest combinations we have ever gotten since the news that Hans Zimmer was doing the music for a SpongeBob movie. Which is still the weirdest news topic we've ever done. But this has to be up there. We're getting a new live-action Barney movie starring the lead actor from Jordan Peele's Get Out.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So my first reaction when I saw this was, why did you have to emphasize that it's live action? Isn't all Barney live action? I didn't watch it growing up, so I don't know.
I mean, technically speaking, yes. Maybe okay, yeah. Now I have questions.
What's the line from Toy Story 4? Woody, I have a question. No, never mind. I have all the questions.
Yeah, jeez, man. Why do you?
While you gather your words, Heather, you hear live action Barney and the guy from Get Out. What is your initial reaction to that?
No.
Thank you for your concise words. Care to expound upon that?
I don't want to see that anymore.
I didn't grow up with Barney. Heather, did you watch Barney at all growing up?
Yes.
Wow, said with such conviction. The synopsis that I've seen is just is Barney still culturally relevant in 2019? What is Barney's phrase of I love you, you love me? What does that mean for us as a culture now?
Okay. I will say this. I don't want to see this movie just because it's not, it's not for me. It's for for 4 and 5 year olds. But the message of that song is fine. Adults should not read into it. It's for kids to know, you know what I mean? It's just a song, and it's just when kids sing songs, they remember things. They remember how special they are. That's it.
Now, if you told me that it's a Barney horror movie like the Banana Splits movie,
I don't know what that is.
it's a movie it's like Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, if you had like a Five Nights at Freddy's movie with Barney,
that's the thought I had of a live. Okay, you want to do live action? Fine. Make it about all the Barney costumes coming alive. That's fine. Make it a horror film. That's terrifying. Let's do it.
But yeah, this I don't get the rationale between this.
I don't know.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
I don't get it either. The only thing I can think of is the actor. He's probably just like a teacher, or just someone helping the kids with Barney. I don't know.
I don't think we'll ever get it, and I don't really want to get it. It's just one of the weirdest things we've ever had as a news topic. And
do you have a name for the Barney movie, or is it just Barney? Live action Barney.
Barney, oh God, please send help.
That sounds about right.
Barney, I hope the toys stay asleep.
Oh my God.
Barney, and the search for more money.
Right.
Barney,
we've talked about this enough.
All right, this is what I think we should do then. All right, I think we should do like between the three of us next week, maybe like see who can come up with the best title for a Barney movie.
Barney, fully loaded.
Oh, no. I'm going to stay out of this conversation. Oh, no.
We're going downhill real fast. Josh, give us a sponsor.
Moving on to the sponsor. Thank you, Josh.
Oh man, today's sponsors is brought to you by Tide Pods. When you open your gym bag and realize you forgot to clean all your clothes and it totally reeks, enter Tide Pods.
All right, that was oddly specific, but that actually sounded like a real sponsor. So we'll give it to you for that.
I have to buy some, so thank you.
So, I
also
so
side
I
note, they're not consumable.
Yeah, hey, don't eat them. But because I had to shoot promos tonight, right? And so we had to do it in full gear. So I had to bring all my gear to training tonight. And I guess I didn't realize that from the show on Saturday, I shoved everything into the bag, closed it, and I hadn't opened it since.
So that's like a ticking stank bomb.
Yeah, I opened it and I was just like, nope, okay. So, anyway.
You know what else is ticking stank bombs? Some certain family-friendly Halloween movies. But that's not what we're going to talk about this week. We're going to talk about the good ones. So, don't like getting scared easily, or you want to watch something for Halloween that you can watch with the entire family. That's what we're going to talk about this week. And thank you, Heather, for the wonderful suggestion. This is all your idea, so if it goes downhill, we're going to blame you.
I'm down with that. I support that decision.
Thank you for listening.
Hey, here's the thing. If this doesn't go well, we're forcing you to watch the live-action Barney movie.
I just have an ugly face right now.
Hey, be nice to yourself. You're a very beautiful woman.
Well, thank you.
So, who wants to kick us off? Actually, Heather, since it was your idea,
oh no,
why don't you kick us off? What's one of your favorite Halloween movies to watch, like family-friendly Halloween movies?
Heather, don't you just love Hocus Pocus? I know that's your favorite movie.
On the list?
Yeah,
yep,
for the record, we will not be talking about Hocus Pocus because, like we said earlier, we want to talk about good movies.
All right, so we kind of... Yeah, I don't like that movie either. We'll kind of talk about the ones that we all kind of can agree on. I would definitely start out with it's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. That's is one of my favorites. I know Nathan really likes it. Honestly, I watched it yesterday in my I teach preschool, so I watched it in my class. And we were like, let's show a movie to the kids before nap time. And it's Charlie Brown. And who doesn't like Charlie Brown? And they loved it. They were, even though it's been around for decades, any generation can relate to it. And it was so fun watching the kids watch it because I was like, oh, I love this movie. And then my co-teacher, she's 60, and she's like, oh, don't you just love it? Like, it's it's just fun. It's happy. It's silly, but it's relatable.
She's probably there when the movie
It's-
first debuted.
Oh yeah, she was. But she's Puerto Rican, so she probably didn't
no,
see
but
it right
like
away. But anyway.
I agree though. It's very much tradition. It's like watching Peanuts Thanksgiving in November. Like it's just what it's a part of life now.
It's a part of. It's just it fully embodies Halloween. It's
Yeah.
also like super quotable. I got a rock.
Yep.
Again, I got a
I'm
rock
waiting,
5
I'm
times in a
waiting.
row at night.
I'm waiting for the Great Pumpkin, Charlie.
I'll put it on record. I actually like It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown more than the Christmas special. I know that one's like more iconic and more like well known, but I actually prefer the It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown over the Christmas special.
I will say I do too, and I love the kids' little Halloween costumes. They have like a ghost and a witch, but then somebody else has like something on top of their costume, like little I don't know.
Yeah,
like
Lucy
ears or
has
something.
Lucy's got the witch's mask and the hat.
Yeah.
Pigpen is just Pigpen. One of them just has a whole bunch of holes in it.
Yeah, but it's just I feel like I want to see it remastered because that would be cool.
You know what I would like to see is was it 2015 we got that new
The Peanuts movie,
which was really really good, and I would have loved another one of those if we got a remake of It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown in that animation style, because it was so true to the original. It's just like Heather said, almost like a remaster kind of.
Honestly, yes, that would be honestly. I don't know, Josh. You remember my friend Molly? Do you remember Molly?
Yeah, vaguely.
Well, if Molly listens, I don't know if she listens, but she is the Charlie Brown fanatic. The most she loves Charlie Brown and Snoopy more than anyone that I know of.
I swear, if she gets a dog, she's gonna name it Peanut.
Or Snoopy, or Snoopy. But yeah, no, yeah, she could probably talk hours about this movie in general. So.
Yeah, I've always liked It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. It's one of my favorites. Josh, what's one that you enjoy that like everyone could watch?
Honestly, I think Monster House is one of the most underrated Halloween movies out there right now.
It's Stranger Things before Stranger Things.
It is, but it's like it's inappropriate. It's hilarious. It's genuinely terrifying at times, and it's very heartwarming by the end of the movie.
It's the right amount of scares for a kids movie.
Yes.
Like it does get pretty intense at times. And I'll be honest, I stayed away from it for a lot of years because of the animation style. I'm not normally a fan of it, but then after a couple minutes you get used to it in a movie and it's really well done. It's a great movie.
And it's weird to think too, because the animation style actually adds to how the story is told.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very fluid for its animation. Like, is it stop motion or is it CG? I think it's stop motion.
I think it's a little bit of claymation, a little bit of animation, a little bit of stop motion. It's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I would agree. It looks like it's blended somehow.
Yeah, but like you're pointing out, the writing for it is just excellent. Like, there's some jokes that are going to go over kids' heads and that are just really well told jokes, but the story was surprisingly heartfelt of the house itself. When you find out the story and the history of the house, like, oh wow, this actually is deeper than I was expecting. It was a really well told and really good story that I just was not anticipating, and it's like required viewing every Halloween every year for me.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's very well told, and like really, like who would have thought about writing like the thought? People have written horror movies about a house being alive before, but not like to the point where like the house is alive and it actually has like anatomical parts.
Yeah, it almost what's that Arthur episode with the chicken house? It reminded me of that.
Yes, okay.
So now I'll go with one that it's going to be the most Nathan pick that ever Nathaned. The Batman versus Dracula. I remember when this first debuted. I've watched it more or less every Halloween since. So while it's not set around Halloween time, you'd be like, it's just a Batman movie. It's actually a really good Halloween movie because it's also one of the best incarnations of Dracula we've ever seen, both live action or animated. And it's one of the few times that Batman's actually used his brain to solve the problem and not just straight up muscle like he has in every single other movie. But it's the right amount of scares. Like, Dracula himself is not the creepiest thing in this movie. That's spoiler alert for a 15-year-old movie. It's probably 15 by now. When Joker comes back from the dead and gets bitten by Dracula, Vampire Joker, I'm not scared of clowns, but that terrifies me.
Yeah, I think, and it's funny that, excuse me, I just burped. It's funny that I'm more of a fan, I think, than you of the Batman series.
I don't know. I still really enjoy it.
I think you saw this before me.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I'm the DC animated movie connoisseur guy. Like I've only missed like 2, and that's only because one of them just came out like yesterday, and the other one's Constantine, and I don't care.
Yeah.
But I like the Batman versus Dracula. I have quite a few actual, and all but 2 of the movies on this list are animated. 3 actually. I can't count today.
It's okay.
It's because one of them I'm looking at it on paper and I'm like, oh, that's cartoon. All right, nope, never mind, it's live action. So I guess we'll talk about that one now as I awkwardly barrel roll into this. Heather's super excited to talk about this one. Before I stumble any more on my words, Heather, which one am I talking about?
I believe it's a 2002 or 2000. I believe it's 2002 or 2003 Scooby-Doo live action. Freddie Prinze Jr., Sarah Michelle Gellar. Yes.
And the greatest bit of movie casting known to man, besides J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson, Matthew Lillard as Shaggy. Oh my gosh, whoever cast him, give that person a raise.
17 years later.
So y'all can hail this all you want, because it is good. Don't get me wrong. It's entertaining. The casting is pretty spot on. The reveal that it's scrappy by the end is very smart, and it's one of those that ties everything together. It's cool, but if you will put that over Scooby-Doo and Zombie Island, I think we're going to have some issues.
Oh no!
No!
Oh no!
This is just a random list.
Okay, we will get to Zombie Island after this, but we'll do live action, then we'll go to Zombie Island, because if anybody says Zombie Island is not great, I will fight them. But the live action Scooby-Doo, so this actually has a very interesting history. I know a lot of people our age grew up watching this Scooby-Doo movie and thought it was great at the time. I've kind of come full circle in this movie. I thought it was great when it came out, and the subsequent years I thought it was terrible. Now I kind of have a different appreciation for it in that, so this, Josh, do you know who wrote this movie?
I don't, actually.
James Gunn of Guardians of the Galaxy.
That doesn't surprise me at all, actually.
So he initially pitched and wrote this movie as a hard R-rated satire of Scooby-Doo, a spoof movie, essentially. And the movie almost got made, and then the studio at the last minute was like, let's make it family-friendly. That's why you got a whole bunch of people like Sarah Michelle Gellar, like Freddie Prinze Jr., who were known at the time for I Know What You Did Last Summer, a slasher movie. So this movie was supposed to be R-rated. That's why a lot of the humor is really over the top and kind of meta. In like Fred's portrayal is over the top, narcissist. Daphne's over the top. I get caught every single time. Like it was supposed to be a spoof of Scooby-Doo. So as a Scooby-Doo movie, it's just kind of okay. But as a spoof of Scooby-Doo, it's actually spot on in nailing a lot of the tropes of typical Scooby-Doo movies. And the reason why the CGI is so bad in these movies is they had extensive reshoots to cover up a lot of the adult humor and images that were already in the movie that you didn't even know were CGI. That's why the creatures look so bad.
Yeah, I mean the creatures looking bad doesn't bother me as much as it probably should.
Because that actually also is true to the form of Scooby Doo. Because as great as Scooby Doo is, if you look at the original Scooby Doo, Where Are You? The budget was probably 5 cents.
Yeah. And that was the thing I think I liked about it the most, and it was kind of the thing I liked about Zombie Island as well. Was it like we were actually facing, like, yes, there was somebody at the top, but we were actually facing actual monsters, not somebody like in a mask.
Yeah, I don't think Zombieland had not Zombieland. Zombieland may have had a cheap budget. I don't think Zombie Island had a budget of 5 cents though. That one actually, you could clearly tell they put more time and effort into the animation. I remember that one gave me nightmares as a kid. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with it, Scooby and the gang go down to the bayou because good cooking and stuff. And Daphne has their own show or something, like the most haunted attractions or whatever. So they go down to the bayou for this supposedly haunted attraction. And for the first time ever in Scooby-Doo history, the ghosts are real. The scene that traumatized many kids, I'm sure, they finally catch one of the zombies, and Fred is like trying to pull its quote unquote mask off, and he ends up pulling the head off a zombie, and he has a decapitated head in his arms. Oh gosh,
Dude, I remember because there was a what was it? There was a scene because there was for some reason it was up there with Jurassic Park where I saw it when I was like 9 or 10, and like I couldn't get past like the first 20 minutes or something like that, and like didn't watch it again until I was an adult. But
also you could tell off from the get go it's gonna be a creepier movie because the color palette is really dark, very strong and effective use of shadows and shading. Of like right off the bat, you're like, this is a little creepy for a Scooby Doo one because normally Scooby Doo is like bright and colorful and everything's very muted. And it's besides maybe The Witch's Ghost, which came out a year after that, which is not nearly as good, even though it's got Tim Curry in it. It had this like muted color palette, which we haven't really gone back to since, because normally Scooby-Doo is like bright and colorful and fun. Heather, what are your earliest memories, or what do you remember about Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island?
I remember I liked it as a kid, but also I know you said you as a kid you were terrified with the reveal of the monsters, of the zombies, being the headless. Yeah, I remember I didn't like that. I remember I remember when I was younger watching up until that point because I knew it was coming, and then I wouldn't watch anymore because I didn't like that as much. But as an adult, like you guys have probably said, it holds up. It's still a great movie, and it's something you can watch with your family, with your friends, whatever.
I also think On Zombie Island has one of the best reveals in any Scooby-Doo movie, and that's that the zombies, spoiler alert, are the good guys, and that the people that brought them to the island are actually the bad guys. Like, that was actually one of the few effective twists that you generally don't see coming. Because after a while as a Scooby-Doo fan, watching them my whole life, after a while you get pretty good at picking out, okay, this is going to be the person that's behind it all. Scooby-Doo has a formula. It's safe, it's predictable after a while. This one, you don't see that twist coming, and it's a good twist.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And I think that's why this movie is so good, is because it knows its source material so well that it takes the tropes. It does the exact same thing, basically, that the live-action Scooby-Doo movie does, but takes it in a different direction.
Yes. Now, we have another live-action one, a Disney Channel original movie one. That's basically any kid that grew up with Disney Channel. Sorry, Josh.
Yep.
I'm gonna hand this one over to Heather because I'm sure she's got plenty to say about the original Halloween Town, and even a little bit of Halloween Town too, but more specifically the original Halloween Town.
Yes, I really liked Halloween Town like as a kid, and then Nathan and I watched it. I don't think we watched it this season yet, but I know we definitely watched it kind of recently, maybe earlier this year. But it's a good movie. It's like about There's a girl, and she's probably like 13 or 14.
The only time I've ever seen a character in a movie named Marnie.
Oh, anyway, Marnie, she's like 13 or 14. Her brother, and then she has a younger sister, I believe, too. And the mom, and they love Halloween, and they love it so much. But like the mom, like thinks they like do too much of that. Like, oh, she has their fall decorations out and whatever. But grandma's the witch, or she loves Halloween, so she'll spoil the kids. But anyway, she um tells like the granddaughter, like she's a witch. Oh, and then anyway, long story, she brings her to Halloween Town. Finally, she's like, oh, finally, I'm 13 years old. I get to go to Halloween Town, and she loves it. And she's meeting all these like kind of creepy, funny looking people because they're monsters or they're witches or whatever, but they're real friendly, some of them, and just different. Just seeing the town, and she just like gets to explore and gets to use her like witch powers or riding the broom and just different things because it's fun. And she's like, I enjoy this. This is why I enjoy Halloween so much, because grandma introduced me to Halloween, basically. Anyway.
So I remember watching Halloween Town like every single year. And I didn't even realize until I got older how stacked the cast is from the adult side. So I will always know the grandma as the grandma from Halloween Town. But I didn't even realize until I became a more diehard movie fan that it's Debbie Reynolds, who's from Singing in the Rain and a whole bunch of other stuff, like famous Hollywood name, Debbie Reynolds. And also the mom in all the Halloween Town movies is April O'Neil from the 1990s TMNT movie, which I'm always just like, that's an interesting connection. And then you have Kimberly J. Brown, who was in like every other Disney Channel original movie for a while there. It was her and Ryan Merriman.
The early 2000s, yeah.
How they never ended up in a movie together is beyond me.
They're probably about the same age, I would say. Like mid-30s or something,
Yes, which I believe I saw somewhere that Kimberly J. Brown ended up getting married to one of the cast members from Halloween Town 2, Calabar's Revenge.
Really? That's interesting.
She got married to Calabar's son, who... Annoying side tangent that I have. So Heather immediately knows where I'm going with this because it's stupid and it bothers me every single time. And Josh is going to laugh at me for this because it's the typical...
Nathan thing.
Yeah, typical Nathan... Really? You're going to nitpick that? But the second Halloween Town is called Halloween Town 2, Calabar's Revenge. And on the DVD cover, Calabar's Revenge is spelled with a K. So, K-A-L-A-B-A-R. Calabar. In the first movie, and even in the second one, Calabar is spelled with a C. And it bothers me that there's not this uniform... Okay, how do you spell the villain's name? Is it C or is it K? Who done messed up, Aaron?
Honestly, I would agree with you. It is messed up. I'd like it better as a K. It makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's a C because it's C in the movie, but on the DVD it's K, and I hate it. I need it fixed. Disney, on Disney Plus, that's the number one priority. Actually, Famous Jet Jackson's number one priority. Then fix Calabar's Revenge.
So you're not gonna talk about Tarzan or Buzz Lightyear on that? All right, cool.
Buzz will get there eventually, but Calabar needs to be fixed. Dang it! It's been all these years and I still haven't let it go. Back in the day, Disney Channel had some great Halloween movies like Phantom of the Megaplex, which is criminally underrated. Or Now You See Me?
Now You See
It. I always get that and Now You See Me with Jesse Eisenberg mixed up because their names are so very similar.
Now You See It 1 and 2. Was there 2?
No, there's only one. I wish there was a second one.
Oh, that's I'm getting confused too.
The Jesse Eisenberg one has a terrible sequel with Daniel Radcliffe in it, but that's not for the whole family. What is for the whole family, now that we can loop Josh back into the discussion, is arguably the best Adam Sandler, they're the same person, the best Adam Sandler movies in recent memory. Josh, what are we talking about?
Literally the movie that surprised the absolute crap out of me with Hotel Transylvania.
There's no reason why it should be as good as it is.
Have you seen the second one?
I have not.
Okay,
Wait, Heather,
I've seen parts of the second one, and I do want to see it. Have you seen the third one?
There's a third one?
Yeah, it's just recent, like this past year or something, or last year.
Okay.
Anyway,
Well,
go ahead.
I saw the second one, and it's not as good as the first one, but it's
I agree.
That's what I'm
it's
hearing about
I
the
agree.
third one.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't even want to talk about that. Anyway, but we're talking about the first one, the Hotel Transylvania, the first that like surprised everyone. There's no reason for this movie to be good.
Especially considering Adam Sandler stopped trying ever since Grown Ups.
Yeah.
But
And he definitely
he's sure as heck trying for some reason in Hotel Transylvania.
I will say I didn't even know that was him in it. Is he the dad? Is he the dad vampire?
Yeah, he's the dad vampire.
Oh, okay. I do like that movie. Go ahead, Josh.
No, yeah. It's there's no reason this should work.
It's on paper. You've got what? Adam Sandler, Selena Gomez. Isn't Steve Buscemi in it?
Literally all of Sandler's like cast of merry men is
Cast of
that's
merry
what I'm calling
men.
him.
That's what we'll go with.
That's what I'm calling him.
It
like,
shouldn't work,
everybody-
but it does.
The charisma of all the characters works. The animation of everything works really well.
Yeah, love the
Like,
animation.
you know, all of their monsters, they've definitely done their homework on. And just like having like the personalities of everyone, like having the werewolves be like exhausted parents is hilarious to me.
Yeah, going back to the animation, it's fast, kind of like the Lego movie in terms of like really rapid, mile a minute humor, but it really, really works. But also at the core of it, it's good characters and good story. And if you do that right, it's hard to fail, even with Adam Sandler, who is, like we've said, really bringing his A game, but his relationship with his daughter is just incredibly well done. And just, it shouldn't work, but it does.
Well, I think the thing it does well is I don't think they ever say what happened to the mom, but you never like feel the need to know. All you feel content with knowing like something bad happened, and you know now these two have to survive.
Well, we have one more officially on the list. I don't know if we can think of any more off the top of our heads. The Addams Family, not the animated one that just came out that looks like a really cheap knockoff of Hotel Transylvania.
I will say people are saying that's really funny, families and kids. So, but anyway, go ahead.
We'll go with the live action Addams Family. When they said they were going to make a new Addams Family, I actually would have preferred it live action, just because the cast that we got sounds perfect for live action. But going back to the original with Christopher Lloyd as it's not Cousin It, because Cousin It's the hairy one. Who's the bald one? No, the dad is it's Morticia
Gordo?
and
Was it Gordo?
no,
Or,
Morticia and it's gonna come back to me at the most random time. Gomez.
Yeah, it is. I was gonna say it's like some like weird like Hispanic name.
I
Which sounds super racist now that I said it out loud.
I don't know if he was dressed up as it for Halloween or a cosplay or it was a fan art or something of Oscar Isaac as Gomez, and oh my gosh, it was perfect.
I would have been. Oh my goodness, it's just not fair.
But going back to the original, that's one that was like, if ABC Family didn't have Hocus Pocus on, it had the Addams Family on for some reason.
Yeah,
it's a Tim Burton movie, but not. It's clearly trying to emulate Tim Burton's style, but except it's good. Yes, I went there.
Yeah.
So I don't even think I realized, but it completely makes sense when I saw it. Do you know who directed this movie?
No.
Barry Sonnenfeld, the same guy that did the first Men in Black.
Jeez.
But
okay,
thinking about it like that, I can absolutely see how they're similar. Like the aesthetics and the character designs feel very, very similar to me.
Yeah.
I liked the original Addams Family. I think it's mainly just because I growing up had a healthy dose. I sound like Mike Tyson. A healthy dose of both Addams Family and the Munsters, which I'm still waiting on a good Munsters movie. Yes, a good Munsters movie.
I grew up with the Munsters, man.
1313 Mockingbird Lane, man.
Let's go. And like that was the thing. Like I always had like more of an attachment to the Munsters than I did the Addams Family.
Yeah, same.
Same. But I'd watch the Addams Family, but the Munsters was much better.
I think the Addams Family to me, like I know of it and I've seen it, but it's just iconic. Like, you know, the song, everybody knows the little song. It's just a classic. Like, even though, you know, we do going back to the new the animated movie, like it gets adults to teach the kids the song. You know what I mean?
And maybe it's
Yeah,
just me being me. I still kind of like the Munsters theme a little bit better. Yes, the Addams Family was more iconic, but I like the do 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 do. Now that's gonna be stuck in my head. In October, it's either the Munsters theme or the Halloween 3, 8 more days till Halloween. And Heather's going, oh no, you got that in my head. And Josh just has no idea what we're talking about.
Yep.
Over Shamrock.
Josh, again, see Halloween 3 if you can get your hands on it.
Or I can do what I'm gonna do tomorrow, which is watch all of the Star Wars films.
What?
Yeah, I've decided. The trailer got me so amped that I have decided to watch everything from Phantom Menace on.
We're going to do that too once Disney Plus comes out, because I want to see what their stream looks like. Plus, Disney Plus will have some, at least Last Jedi on 4K. So
that's fair. Because I'm going to do, because I'm going to do the 1 through 3. Then I'm do a recap of Clone War, or do a recap of Clone Wars between 2 and 3.
Which
and
Clone
then
Wars, like the 3D animated or the far superior 2D animated one?
Both, because technically they're both canon.
No, they're not. The 2D one isn't.
Oh, really? I thought. Okay, well,
No.
Anyway. All right. Well,
because you got to think Asajj Ventress is in both the 2D and the 3D, and she dies in the 2D.
Fair. Okay. Well, regardless,
I wish the 2D was canon.
It's better, but
it
that's
also
also
made the
because
best Grievous.
It's also done in the same style as
Samurai
Jack.
Yeah.
So, but I was gonna do a recap video. Excuse me, of the Clone Wars series in between there, and then along with Solo and Rogue One, do a recap video of Rebels leading into A New Hope.
Wow, you're going hard.
Yeah, dude. I was like, I'm amped, and like I started watching Phantom Menace today, and
it's like, not that bad, people.
It's really not. Like, it's yeah. Anyway, regardless.
We're getting.
I got off a tangent. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, we never get on tangents here. Josh or Heather, do you have any other ones that we haven't mentioned today? Heather, you got any?
Yes, but both of you will not agree. It's for the ladies. It's for the girls that grew up with our generation. I loved as a kid the Double Toil and Trouble. It's a Mary-Kate and Ashley movie when they were like 6.
Okay, I've seen plenty of those. Those are not bad. Those are pretty good.
This one was really fun. And
Heather, I'm hurt.
Why?
I'm hurt that you would assume that I had never seen that.
Thank you, because I'm just like, Nathan's never seen this.
I've seen like all but one of them.
Okay.
Are you kidding me? The Mary-Kate and Ashley movies are like,
this is back when they were normal.
Yeah, when they were under the age of 14.
And now they're the least talented of the Olsen.
Well, yes, but we won't talk about that. That regardless, how dare you make that assumption, Heather?
I'm sorry, Josh. I guess I didn't talk to you about this beforehand. But anyway, you've seen this movie, right?
Yeah, I've seen them. Of course I've seen.
Well, this one. Have you seen this one in particular, specifically?
Yes, I have. It's been a hot minute, but
it's been a hot minute for me too. But,
is it the one with the creepy house?
Yeah, it's creepy. Okay, so here's the very, very generic idea because I could talk, but it's too late. Anyway, so I like this movie and I want to rewatch it. It's probably good. Basically, so Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, their characters, I don't remember their names in the show, but they go trick-or-treating with their parents, but then they get to go spend time with grandma. And then they go to grandma's house and there's like this creepy attic and a mirror and all these I'm missing details, but anyway, there's like the grandma had a sister, but she died and she was a ghost and she was like evil and she like her spirit went into the mirror and they had to go on this.
Oh gosh,
it was
now it's all
kind
coming
of
flooding back to me.
kind of like this
Yeah,
dream. I
same.
don't know. But they like I feel like the girls went into the mirror. I don't remember how this. I'm getting a little lost. But anyway, the girls like meet all these interesting people because they want to relive. Oh wait, the grandma, the nice grandma, their actual grandma, the sweet grandma, got trapped in the mirror by the evil sister. So basically, the girls are like, they have to go to different houses and different things and find all these characters like a little. It was like there's a dwarf, there's like this old lady, this middle-aged lady that looks like a witch. There's like all these like people they come across to get clues of like, oh, how did they save their grandma? But I need to look up on it. But I really liked it because it's very different, very unique, and it just is like it's fun, but it relates back to the family, and that's why I like it so much.
Now, like, I definitely remember seeing all those memories that were like locked 3 levels deep in my brain, just came flooding back up using an express elevator.
Do you remember something that I missed?
Yeah, because that now this is making my brain move and groove, right? Did Wishbone ever do a Halloween special?
Dude! The Wishbone
Did they-
Sleepy Hollow episode.
That's what it is. I was like, I could have sworn I remembered a Wishbone.
That was
Halloween special.
terrifying.
Oh man! Well, because because
I couldn't watch that one because like don't they actually like show like the creepy head or something?
Yeah, and like
That one gave
Wishbone
me
like
nightmares. I loved Wishbone, but not that stupid episode.
But like I remember Wishbone getting like stuck in the creepy house, and like the kids had to
Yeah.
save him. And, oh,
Where is
dude.
Wishbone now, and what streaming service do I need to subscribe to get me some Wishbone?
Man, I guarantee it's probably all on. It's probably on YouTube. But Wishbone was the best.
Yeah, it was on PBS because it was great and educational.
It was.
Wishbone was just oh man, that was even further down than before.
This brings me back. I know it's not a movie, but did Arthur on PBS? Little Arthur, did he ever have a Halloween episode?
Nah,
Yes,
well, if they did,
partially.
Oh.
Remember the musical episode? Jekyll, Jekyll, High, Jekyll.
yes, I sing that song all the time.
That was terrifying. So Brain, are you checking it out? Renew.
His library card, right? Oh my gosh.
Traveling the world isn't very hard when you've got
a library card.
Golly. All right, I think we better wrap this up, man, before we go too far down.
Also,
the memory
just so
lane.
you know, if you YouTube Wishbone right now, the first thing that comes up, Wishbone, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Oh man.
Guess what I'm watching later? That and then the Arthur Jekyll, Jekyll High. Holy crap.
Jekyll.
Okay, just for the record, I'm seeing a couple different Wishbone things pop up right now on YouTube Suggested. And after Legend of Sleepy Hollow, there's one called Bark to the Future, and I kind of need to see it.
Oh, jeez.
Wishbone. Look how he's just in the picture on the YouTube. He's so cute.
Man, I need to binge watch Wishbone now. Thanks, Josh.
Sorry.
Never apologize for bringing back Wishbone, even if it is the terrifying Sleepy Hollow.
It is. Well, let's wrap this thing up before we dive too far down the rabbit hole of childhood.
Yeah, I think
But,
in the near future we're gonna need a nostalgic only episode,
yeah, totally.
a PBS episode,
Heather,
so we can talk
Heather,
about
it was-
Cyber Chase and Arthur and all the good stuff.
oh man, Heather, it was great talking to you. It was fun having you on tonight. I heard you guys took over last week. I appreciate it. But yeah,
Thank you.
it was good. We don't get to talk much, bud.
Nope, we don't.
Also, for last week we did best movie heroes. I have one that Josh, you got to remind me. For next week, we're gonna talk about. Josh and I are gonna talk about our top 10 favorite horror movies, and I'm kicking myself that I forgot one of my all-time favorite horror movie heroes. To set it up for something in next week, one of the characters on my list called Hush.
Oh, dude, what's
I'm
wrong
kicking
with
myself.
you?
I forgot about her.
How'd you forget about that? What's wrong with you?
I know, man. But you at home, what are some of your favorite family-friendly Halloween movies? Let us know in the comments below. We always love hearing from you guys. And if you haven't already, subscribe to us on whatever audio platform you're listening to us on, whether that's YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Google Podcasts, whatever else. If you haven't already, subscribe to us on YouTube at Uncharted Media. And as always, stay sharp, movie guys and gals.